Hello, this is Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Where to sleep for the night? From the homeless to the Four Diamond Hotel, the city of Anaheim is asking that question, how to best accommodate the people in the city. With us now is Anaheim City Councilwoman Lucille Kring to talk about homelessness and economic development, among other things. Welcome.
Welcome, Leslie. Good to see you again.
On the one end of the spectrum, you're talking about economic development, bringing Four Diamond Hotels into the city. On the other end of the spectrum, there is a real homeless issue that you're trying to accommodate people as best you can.
Yes.
In the economic development realm,
yes.
What are you doing to bring money into the city to provide revenue to help both ends of this issue?
What we're doing actually is a year ago, the council actually supported giving economic help to Four Diamond Hotels. We needed to have about 2,600 hotel rooms that were Four Diamond capacity. And so we gave them an incentive where they would receive 70% of a rebate for the TOT, the transit occupancy tax, or the bed tax that you pay when you pay your portfolio when you leave the hotel. And so that was going to establish that. We needed that many hotel rooms because when people come, big conventions come, the people who are the big wheels, they are the doctors, and we have American Heart Association coming next year. They will not stay in our properties here because the only two Four Diamonds we have are in our Disney properties. And most people, if they're coming into a business environment or a convention, they're not going to stay at those properties. So they go down to Costa Mesa, they go down to Newport, they go down to Huntington Beach, Dana Point. And actually, that's been verified. Next week, we have Natural Products coming into Anaheim. They will bring about 80,000 people to the city, up from about 76,000 last year. And the Avenue of the Arts Four Diamond Hotel in Costa Mesa has already received upwards of 50 reservations for that show. So there's an indication that we do not have the property that these people want to stay in. So we're hoping that the Four Diamond Hotel, that the Garden Walk, that was approved in 2013, and they will break ground next month. Well, we hope. And we have 3 others on the drawing board, and hopefully they will get their planning commission and come to council, and they will be up and running in a year from now. And that's the good news, and that will bring in a tremendous amount of money to the city. Currently, in the 16-17 fiscal year, our resort area, which includes Disney, the convention center, all the hotels, restaurants, shops, they will bring in $163 million into the city coffers. That gross is 50% of our general fund. Now, by the time you take out the payments that are due on the bonds, we will net close to $71 million. That goes directly back to the neighborhoods for the parks, the libraries, police, and they pay for all the fire departments. So the resort does a lot of good for the community.
So you say this in response to critics who say there's no need to give any help, any tax breaks, subsidies to these hotels, assuming the hotels would be happy to operate anyway because people would be going there.
Well, that's not necessarily true because there has not been a Four Diamond Hotel built since 2001, and that was the Grand California. And in the meantime, truth be told, the Disneyland Hotel property has been upgraded to a Four Diamond, but that's only in the inside. Nothing has been built. So when people say they would build it anyway, it's been 17 years and not one hotelier has built anything of a Four Diamond quality. We have 3 diamonds, we have 2 diamonds, and they have been built left and right. And it's wonderful because they appeal to a certain area. But the Four Diamonds, you're paying a lot more, the service is a lot more, and you get what you pay for, as they say. And those people want the quality of 24/7 concierge, 24 room service, everything that goes with the Four Diamond package.
Just down the street from where these Four Diamond accommodations would be built, we have homeless encampments that are seeming to be growing every day, with some of the Orange County Public Works moved, displaced some of the homeless most recently. What's being done in the city of Anaheim to address the homeless situation? Some people say if you don't do something about it, it just ends up costing you more in the long run and people suffer.
Yes, that's true. Anaheim has been very successful. In the last 2 years, we have had a police homeless task force. So certain police officers are trained on how to handle certain people. And when it comes to a person who is a 5150, really very mentally ill, they call in a social worker because the police are not equipped to do that or handle those people. So with CityNet, the nonprofits, the police, we have had, in the last year and a half, we have been able to get close to 700 homeless off the streets and out of our parks in Anaheim. They've gone into transitional housing, they've gone into permanent housing, they've been reconnected with their families, because in some cases the families don't know where they are, and the homeless think that their families would be too ashamed to be involved with them again. It's just not true. They want to connect with their kids. And so we've been able to do that, and getting them jobs, getting them off their drugs and alcohol, because a lot of the reasons people are homeless, it can be a divorce, it can be a serious illness, it can be mental illness, it can be drug or alcohol addiction, and those really take a toll after a while. So they live in their cars, they live in RVs, they live in our parks, and it's not the right element. So we are doing our best to get them off. It's a county-wide effort. I just became the chair of the ACC, Association of California Cities Orange County Chapter for Homelessness. And we are really working with all the nonprofits, but the problem is there aren't enough affordable housing because you've got so many regulations that come from Sacramento. You've got the environmentalists who won't let you build on certain lands, and then you have the NIMBYs who say, I don't want that affordable housing in my neighborhood. So government is kind of stuck. We know we need to build housing, but where, how, and what's it going to cost? So the homeless are still in the streets. We have advocates coming all the time. They want safe zones. They want us to let the bathrooms open 24/7. They want them to camp and sleep in our parks. And then you have the residents who say, no way, I want my parks for the kids. And I just noticed today coming here, all of the homeless have been displaced. Mm-hmm. The problem now is they're going into Angel Stadium and they're breaking into any area that's got electrical use so they can plug in their phones or plug in their iPads, and now they're going to the Big A, and that is really hot electricity, so somebody's going to get severely injured if it's not stopped.
It's a complex issue, and sometimes I wonder about the liability that happens. You had the encampments in the Civic Center Plaza, and what if something happened like one of the ghost ship things in Sacramento, if there was some major fire or some catastrophe, you know, would the county be held liable for that, or some major, you know, electrocution issue?
Well, I think the first thing you would have an ACL lawsuit, and they would make sure that some government or some business is held liable because they're all over the place now. They're suing everybody.
So is there any consideration to provide just a place for them to be that's not illegal, that provides the basic services of electricity and facilities? Well,
we do have the armories that are open until another month. In Anaheim, it's going to be the first ever 24/7 homeless shelter, which is going to be at 1000 Kramer. The unfortunate part, it should have been open last September. It's going to be a 200-bed facility, and it's a lockdown. You have to have an appointment to get in, to get a bed, and you do not wander around. You get all kinds of treatment. You get treatment for drugs and alcohol and mental illness. You get job training. You get all kinds of social skills, because they want you to leave that and go into housing, get a job so you can afford to pay for your housing. And now it's only because of the supervisors being so slow, it's going to open with 100 beds in April, and then the other 100 beds won't open for probably 6 to 8 months after that. So we promised the neighbors it would be done in one fell swoop, and now we're going back in our promise.
It seems the most encouraging thing in this very confusing, difficult situation is that people in Anaheim, Fullerton, Santa Ana, the county are addressing the issue, and hopefully there will be some sort of movement.
We're trying to. It's a very difficult, multi-purpose issue.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you, Leslie.
Glad you could join us too. I'm Leslie Leyton.